Hi everyone, this is Professor Kidwai again. Now we're watching our third scene for our scene analysis of Lust Caution. I wanted to include this scene. It's a subtle scene, but I wanted to include it because I haven't really talked at all in my lecture so far about the relationship between Wang Chachi, the young woman who we see on screen right now, and Mr. Yi. And in some ways, their story is really the heart of the movie. So it's actually a shame that I've been focusing so much on her relationship with Kwang Yu Min, okay? What I want to talk about in this scene analysis in this clip is how backstory, particularly the backstory of Mr. Yi, helps give understanding to the complexity in the relationship between Wang Chachi, who's on screen, and Mr. Yi. Okay, it's a relationship of violence. It's a relationship of utter distrust and utter lies. Right? Mr. Yi, for example, thinks that Wang Chachi is genuinely romantically involved with him, although of course there are moments when he profoundly does not trust her. That's what the rape is about earlier in the film, right? Sort of testing her. I mean, I'm sorry to say that that's a terrible way of looking at a rape, but you know the function in the film's narrative is that the rape is to sort of test her. Is she genuine or is she a spy? We know about the violence in their relationship, but Mr. Yi believes after that test that she's actually genuinely in love with him. And so in this scene, we're going to get a little bit of background understanding of Mr. Yi, of why Wang Chachi can be in a relationship with him, okay? And we're also going to understand the complexity of their relationship. While so much of the film focuses on the espionage part, there is actually a genuine connection between the two of them. And the connection, of course, is loneliness and regret. Okay? That due to regrets from the past, both of these characters are profoundly lonely in their lives. They are profoundly lonely in the lies of their lives, right? Sorry for that repetition of the letter L, but the lying is making them lonely. And we're going to see that, and we're going to see the humanity of the connection between them, okay? So let's start watching. Here we have Wang Chachi entering this space that is effectively a brothel, right? It's a brothel here in Shanghai that is for Japanese soldiers. If you're familiar with the history of the Sino-Japanese War, of this part of World War II, you'll know that sexual violence inflicted upon Chinese women, sexual violence inflicted upon Korean women, was a profound weapon of war used by the Japanese during this time, okay? So this brothel is a metaphor of the rape of Shanghai, of the rape of China by the Japanese Imperial Army, okay? And here we see Wang Chachi, of course, literally being raped earlier in the film, but we see that even Mr. Yi metaphorically is being raped by the Japanese Imperial Army, and he'll comment on this soon.
你听他们唱歌，像哭，听起来像丧家之犬。
They sing like they're crying, like dogs howling for their dead masters. Okay? So even if there is drunken revelry by the Japanese officers in this brothel or by the Japanese soldiers in this brothel, there's foreshadowing because, of course, we know how this war is going to end. We know that Japan will indeed lose this war. Like dogs howling for their dead masters, a sense of deadliness, a sense of death has already descended. Okay? It's this time period in the film is 1942. What's the significance of 1942? 1942 is after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, which is December 1941. So the United States, the beginning of 1942, is entering the war. Okay? We know that the Continental War in Europe, or maybe we don't know this, but we know that the Continental War in Europe is won definitively by the Soviets. It's really the Soviets who defeat the Nazis, right? But it's the United States who defeat Japan. Of course, the horrific atomic bombing of Japan signifies this, right? But we have a foreshadowing of all of that, the sense of deadliness in Mr. Yi's comments. Let's keep going.
鬼子杀人如麻，其实心里比谁都怕。直到江河日下，看美国人一开打就快到底，跟着粉墨登场的一般人，还在荒腔走板的唱戏呢。
With our painted faces listening to their off-tune songs. Okay, so it's about performance and the hiding of emotions. Wang Chachi is an actress playing a role in this espionage play, but in real life, she's an actress. She's always hiding her emotions. She's always hiding the loss of being abandoned by her family, her father, the loss of her mother dying, the betrayal of the friends. She always has a painted face, hiding this sorrow, hiding this pain.
你听，
this change in place, right? Even this change in her performance. Look at how her eyes have narrowed now. In Desire, is it real? Is it genuine? Is it performed? It's unclear, right? But this change in positionality is now shifting a change in tone and mood in the scene, that now it's going to slip into this place of deeper intimacy. More is going to be revealed.
我知道你为什么约我来这里。
为什么？
你要我做你的妓女。
做妓女？我带你到这里来，比你懂怎么做娼妓。
Okay, so what the deeper information that is being revealed is the backstory, right? And now it's this backstory, or maybe backstory is the wrong word, but a peek into the psyche of Mr. Yi, a peek into his brain. That here he is demonstrating power throughout the movie. He's torturing people. He's inflicting violence. He's inflicting violence on Wang Chachi. He's cheating on his unsatisfied, dissatisfied wife, right? He's always an actor. He always has agency. But here we see this glimpse. Look at the close-up, right? It's this intimate close-up on his face, and we're seeing a glimpse into his mind. Maybe I should say his soul, where he says probably the truest thing he'll say in this whole film, which is that I'm the one who brought you in this space. I know better than you how to be a prostitute. Who is he a prostitute for? Who is quote-unquote pimping him? It's the Japanese, right? That Japanese Imperial Army, because he is a quote-unquote traitor. He's a collaborator, in other words, right? So he is like, I'm sorry, this is a really, offensive way to talk about sex work, but this is how the film treats it. So let me just, complete the metaphor, right? That he is like a hired or a paid sex worker for the Japanese Imperial Army, in other words, okay? Now Wang Chachi is going to sing for Mr. Yi, just to, I guess, mitigate maybe some of his pain. And we're just going to watch his nonverbal, unspoken reaction to her song. So we're going to look at the text of her song, the meaning of her song, the words of the song, and how he reacts to them, okay? She's so good. She's so good. All her facial expressions, she's a lovely actress, both in the movie and as an actress for the film.
天涯呀，海角，
So she's literally performing in this song, okay? She's not only singing but she's dancing, and we can sort of read the dance movements for indications or for deeper levels of meaning of the song, and it's very lovely and beautiful to do that. I mean, even this still here that I've paused on. I mean, look at how beautiful her dress is. Look at how beautiful she looks in comparison to the background of the set, right? She's another beautiful object, in other words, on this set. Look at the delicate positioning of her hands and her arms. It's a lovely performance, but forgive the sound here. There's an alarm in the background. But we're really going to be watching for Mr. Yi's performance, right? And what that reveals.
小妹妹唱歌，郎奏琴。
He's smiling, right? At this point, the song is very sweet about a young woman and love. He's smiling, okay? But a sadder thing is going to happen soon.
郎呀，咱们俩是一条心。哎呀哎呀，郎呀，咱们俩是一条心。
Okay, your heart is my heart, and the two fingers come together. So now actually the song is revealing this message of love, of these two lonely fingers finally finding intimacy together, right? These two separated but lonely twin souls finally coming together, okay? And now this is going to have meaning for Mr. Yi in his loneliness.
家山呀，北望，泪呀泪沾襟。
My tears fall and wet my blouse. She's crying for her lover. And look how moved he is. I mean, he's like a terrible person in this movie, but just seeing how moved he is, I'm almost crying. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, right? Like it's suddenly the tone has shifted. It's not about this young woman in love. It's about the pain of loss. It's about the secret wish for true love, right? The secret wish that he has to be truly loved, even though he is doing all of these evil things, right? That's why the tears are suddenly in his eyes. The thought that this woman, who he has to mistrust, that this woman could potentially be a spy because so many spies have come before her, right? That he wants to love her, but he can't trust her because of his own evil deeds as a collaborator in the war.
小妹妹向郎知道情，郎呀患难知交恩爱。
Only love that lasts through hard times is true. I feel like I'm going to start crying, you guys. These are beautiful lines. As a scene, you watch it quickly, but when we slow it down, we can really kind of think about the meanings of these lines, even though he is a horrible person, even though he could be like Hitler, right? But Ang Lee sort of doing this wonderful job of providing this, using this scene to provide this kind of humanizing moment and explain to the viewer that there is a part of their love story that's actually real. Again, out of the loneliness of these two characters.
哎呀哎哎呀，郎呀患难知交恩爱深。人生呀，谁不喜呀喜庆春？
So in this moment, look at, it's a very simple scene, like she pours a drink for him and he takes it, right? But it's more than that. It's that through this, what he imagines to be this genuine expression of love, he's willing to take from something from her, right? I mean, there's no way that she could have put poison in that glass or anything like that, but, he's willing to take this risk, in other words, knowing that she could be a spy sent to kill him. He's taken it.
小 妹妹丝线，郎丝针。郎呀穿在一起不离分。
Never to be separated. We're like a threaded needle, never to be separated. Now she touches him for the first time in this scene.
哎呀哎呀，
He can't even look at her.
郎呀穿在一起不离分。
We're like a threaded needle, never to be separated. It's a beautiful scene, right? And that's why he has to wipe away his tears. Okay, we'll end this scene analysis now.